Good evening, everybody. I intend to give you a very quick, presentation of my point of view, and I intend to stay within my 15-minute limit. I came here because of the topic, water, air, and food, and I want to give you some of my personal experiences, both in life generally, but also in the Supreme Court of India, where some very important cases are now going on. First, I want to deal with water, and I want to talk about the Ganga, and I want to talk about the Himalayas, with whom all of you have a very close emotional and religious connection. And I want to tell you, without any hyperbole, without any exaggeration, how the Ganga is being killed. Not happening naturally, happening because Government of India, Government of Uttarkashi, and many other governments are complicit in the killing of Ganga Ma. I go up to an ashram in Uttarkashi, just north of Uttarkashi. I've been there now for many years. I go to do yoga and meditation. And my guru is a man who's been in that area for many years. And on the last visit, which was hardly, I think, about 2 months ago, he told me, "Colin, I have been here for so long. I have never seen the Ganga so low in my life." What are the reasons? We studied that because I spent many months going to the Himalayas in that area, particularly on the Uttarkashi Gangotri road and the surrounding areas. We spent many years taking photographs and so on, and meeting with experts and so on. And there are two Rakshasas, if you like, who are killing Ganga Ma with a great deal of support from the central government, from the state government, from all governments. The first big Rakshas is the hydroelectric projects who collect money, go up to the Himalayas, and then what do? They start blasting right through the mountains. Because what they have to do, a hydroelectric project, takes the water from the top, puts it into a pipe, so the whole area will dry up. The natural flow of the river will dry up. Put it into a pipe, take it in the mountains, and then drop it onto a turbine. So the turbine will generate electricity. Then again you'll put it in a pipe, take it in the mountain, drop it. So if you look at the picture of the Himalayas, you will see it is bumper to bumper project. From here to here pipe, then little bit it will flow, here to here pipe. The Himalayan waters, you can say, are now 70% in pipes. So the natural flow of the river has gone, the fish have gone, the natural kind of aquatic regime has all destroyed, and you've got great electricity, so to speak. Anyway, when you blast, you weaken the mountain. And when you do periodic blasts, you weaken the mountain. So the Himalayas are dying. Any expert on the Himalayas will tell you the Himalayas are dying. But who wants to listen? Who wants to listen in Delhi, or who wants to listen anywhere in the world? The Himalayas are dying and they are breaking up. And that is why you will find in every monsoon, you will find huge landslides. Because the Himalayas have become fragile and they are dying. So this is our great hydroelectric projects. And these persons, because of their money power in Delhi, they get clearances from the environment minister. They get clearances from the power minister. And the power minister is particularly the big culprit in all this, because he's very happy to have these people do all these projects there. And we are fighting in the Supreme Court like anything. But our main enemy is, of course, Government of India. That is one. Now we have a Char Dham project, which I know again, most Indians, my family is Hindu. I was born a Christian, but I have no particular values except human rights. So it's very emotive. Char Dham, we can go up. What is the Government of India planning? To take the 15-20 feet roads, make them into 40 feet roads, and take you up to the top. You can go up in your Mercedes-Benz, in SUVs. You can just go in large numbers at high speed. And the documents say it. You take you up at very high speed. So instead of going slowly, sometimes instead of going on donkey, sometimes instead of walking, young people should be made to walk. You will go up in traditional globalization style, which is today's society. What happens when you do that? And it has already started. And that is why Guruji told me, I have never seen the level of the Ganga so low. What happens when you do it? Because it has started. Again you will blast. Because you have to make a 20-foot road, 40-foot road. How will you do it? You will blast. So the mountains are being blasted again. And this time when I went, there were landslides everywhere. And the landslides would come on the cars and take the cars into the Ganga. And when the pilgrims grow up, I can give you a guarantee when the pilgrims grow up. You may go up in a Mercedes-Benz, but the Mercedes-Benz will go into the Ganga. It doesn't matter. Nature will take its own revenge. So now you have a Char Dham project which is supposed to take you up. Because of the massive construction work, climate change has taken place. The temperature levels have risen. And when the temperature levels rise, the winter rain in the Himalaya begins to dry. The winter rain is what turns into ice in winter. And in summer, that winter snow, so to speak, begins to melt and comes down, Rishikesh and right down. That has begun to dry. And we can tell you it's a danger. I want to point it out as danger number one to the security, to the well-being of India. That if this continues and climate change happens in this manner, if the Ganga begins to dry, and you can see areas, I've seen it with my own eyes, there are parts of that area where you look at the Ganga, you can't believe that this is the mighty Ganga, because it has shriveled into a little stream in many parts. And so if this project goes on, you can be well assured that in another 3 or 4 or 5 years, there will be a huge water crisis in India. And the Ganga, which we say is sacred to us, and I must tell you, people who say Ganga Ma is sacred to us are the very people who will destroy her. एक हाथ से हत्या करेगा, दूसरा हाथ से बोलते रहेगा कि ये बहुत ही हमारा ये धर्म की बात है वगैरह. All rubbish and lies, I tell you. So this is the first danger to India. I want to talk to you now about air. You've seen Delhi. For at least the last 10 years, Delhi has had pollution levels which are in extreme high levels. We have gone beyond the imaginable. And now the newspaper reports come, it's not just Delhi, it's many of the cities of India. Why is it? Ask yourself this question. Why is it that a country which has 7.5% GDP rate, or at least we boast, we have become a world tiger. We have become a world economic tiger. In Delhi, you have the Prime Minister, you have the Chief Minister, you have the Supreme Court, you have the High Court, you have the NGT, you have the Minister of Environment, you have the Health Minister, and you cannot control environmental pollution in Delhi? And my own perception from the court proceedings, which I have seen now for at least 7 years, I'm not in those proceedings, but I keep an eye. There is no will. There is no will to act. What has happened to our politicians? What has happened to our administrators? That if India dies, they don't care. Everybody makes their nest nicely comfortable. Their nest in India will be comfortable. Their nest abroad will be comfortable. But India khatti mein jayega and nobody cares. The reality of India, my dear friends, is that nobody cares. Nobody in power cares what happens to the people of India. I was personally affected. Late in my life, I was blessed by God. I had a young child. I have a 7-year-old girl. And then I saw 50% children in her class are using nebulizers. Right across Delhi, people are falling sick. People are dying because of this. You kill one man, you get life imprisonment. You kill so many people with pollution. And nothing happens. Nobody is accountable. Nobody is punishable. And so the solution to air is not a difficult solution at all. If the nation puts its mind to it, if the Prime Minister says, I'll take charge of this problem, he must. Is this not an issue for the Prime Minister to take charge? He must take charge and say, by next year, Delhi will be pollution free. Nobody cares. And I've seen all the proceedings in the Supreme Court, in the NGT, everything. Okay, some gesture, some measure, but are you responding to this national crisis which is killing people? And the answer is no. So this is the second big danger to the country that we live in. Third, food. Two big dangers: genetically modified organisms, pesticides. Let me talk about pesticides first, because that is easy for you to understand. We have the highest flow of pesticides in the world, in India. Pesticide companies are makers of poison. Simple. That poison comes into India like in no other country. It just comes in. Is there an act to control it? It's called the Insecticide Act. Has the Insecticide Act and the inspectors and so on done anything in their lives in the last 10 years to control insecticides? No. Why? Because the insecticide lobby, these are big chemical companies from abroad and India as well. They're very powerful people, financially very powerful, and they corrupt officials in the insecticide, in that ministry and in that authority under the Insecticide Act. So you have the highest flow of pesticides, and when you test food in India, and these results are for the last 10 years, government has remained not bothered. You might think it is in meat and fish. You might think vegetables are good. Meat, very high levels. Fish, very high level. Breast milk of mother, very high levels of pesticide, lethal. Now you might think vegetables are nice, I'll wash them. Vegetables have very high levels of pesticides. Rice, very high levels. Gehu, very high levels. All the dals, very high levels of pesticide. What are you eating? Rich man, poor man, what are you eating? You are ingesting poisons. And then you know, any doctor will tell you India has the rising level, one of the fastest rising levels of cancer in the world. Why are we getting cancer? The answer is very simple. You are eating carcinogens. In your food which looks very good, you are ingesting carcinogens and dying. People are dying of cancer. And why? Because that pesticide lobby is uncontrollable by government. They've got the government of India in their pocket. You can do anything. So we go to the court and we show the court these 60 pesticides banned in Europe, banned in America, banned in this country, banned in that country. Why is it going on in India? No answer. Merrily going on. Third big danger. I don't want to go on too much. I will finish in exactly now 5 minutes more. Third big danger to the people of India is the poisons that you eat in your food. Not because it is coming naturally, but because government of Indian officials are taking bribes by the pesticide and insecticide companies, and they are allowing the poisons to go freely in the country. And all these agencies under the Insecticide Act, the insecticide inspectors, the registration committees, the revision committees, are all doing this practice of corruption and endangering the lives of Indians on a daily basis. Now I want to talk about genetically modified organisms. You know, according to our culture, the old Indian culture, things that come organically are good. Things that are grown naturally are good. And a basic principle about our Indian life: don't interfere with nature. Nature is bountiful. Nature is God itself. Nature will give you things in abundance. Leave her alone. But what do? We are bringing in one of the most dangerous genetically modified organisms in the world. There's a company called Monsanto, one of the most, let us say, it's a very powerful company, let us say. I don't want to be taken for defamation or something. Very powerful company, spreading Monsanto genetically modified. Now let me speak generally. Genetically modified organisms have been studied abroad, and it is shown that when these genetically modified organisms go into your system, they cause irreparable damage to your system. It has been tested on animals and so on, and the animal's reproductive life cycle gets fundamentally altered and so on. These genetically modified organizations are coming into India on a very large scale, and they have huge financial power, huge capacity to bribe. And so these companies, which are not allowed in many parts of Europe and other parts of the world, are coming into India with a free license to bring it in. It is coming in brinjal, it's coming in gehu, it's coming in varieties of rice, it is coming in all kinds of things. This is the fourth big danger for the citizens of India. My colleague spoke about the Food Security Act. I'll make a few comments and stop. Under the Act, 70% of the population is supposed to get subsidized food. Leave that aside. But all pregnant women and lactating mothers get a 6,000 rupee benefit. When you get pregnant, before you have a child, you will get 6,000 rupees because you will eat. Then your child will become a little stronger, child will not die in childbirth. Why is this? 50% of all women in India are anemic. 50% of all women in India are malnourished. 50% of all children in India are malnourished. We have become hunger capital of the world. What is our GDP? 7.5%. What is our status? Hunger capital of the world. What has the central government done? Central government has discontinued 6,000 rupee payment. Discontinued. It is there in the Act. Discontinued. Some districts here and there they are giving it. Right across the country they are stopping the payment of maternity benefit for women. So my friends, that is what I wanted to say. I want to end by saying, these are very critical times. India is going through the gravest crisis that you can possibly imagine. We are in need of a kind of freedom struggle that we had against the British. But now that freedom struggle will be against brown skins and black skins. It will be against Indians who have betrayed their fellow countrymen, who have acted contrary to the interests, the good interests of India, who have abused their positions in power. We need a new freedom struggle. Freedom struggle for freedom from hunger. Freedom from violence against Dalits, tribals and so on. Freedom from indignity. Freedom to speak freely. Freedom to think freely. Freedom against surveillance. We need a new freedom movement in our country. And I want all of you, I think many of you are not connected with human rights in any way. Perhaps. But the time has come for all Indians to rise in revolt against the kind of oppression and discrimination and violence that we see in society today. I urge all of you to become a social activist also. I'm a lawyer, I'm a social activist. All of you I urge, become social activists. All of you become freedom fighters. And more, all of you become militant freedom fighters. Thank you very much.
मैं भारत